welcome to The Topics. I'm Adrian Stewart, and with me today, Valerie McKinsey and our very outspoken and regular
good-looking,
as well as good-looking guy with no socks, Tom Crusoe. As we did last week, we start off the program by following up on topics that we spoke about with some interesting news. So let's address the rice issue first. What happened with the rice issue last week was some petitioners from the NIDA Institute actually went to court. Now, the court has actually now turned that down. They have rejected it. And they have said that they will now go to the people. I don't know what that means by them going to the people to actually present their ideas on what this policy, this rice pledging scheme is all about. Val, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is they actually not rejected the pledging scheme. What they rejected is they said they can't handle this particular case. It's not under their jurisdiction.
Yeah, because
I think that's the
people who were complaining were not directly affected by the rice pledging scheme itself.
But, you know, let's go back to last week's program where Tom went to lengths to say, look, it shouldn't be called the rice pledging scheme, point one. And secondly, I think that people still don't understand what it is really all about. And quite frankly, I think people don't care. You know, I really don't think people care. The only reason they're going to care is when it hits them in the pocket, when it costs them more money, when it costs them more to buy.
Guys, like I said at the beginning, right, I think the courts did the right thing this time, right? Thai courts usually meddle into things they have no idea about.
Right now they're meddling into the 3G option.
Yeah, you know, and the Thai courts on this one, I think, made the right call, which is it's nothing under my jurisdiction, throw it back out, right? This is a subsidy. It's not a pledging. Pledging means when you pledge something, you have the rights to take it back, right? The Thai farmers are not going to go and take their rice back, right? So they're getting money. But as I said again, I'm in favor of this scheme. A lot of people are saying it's a bad scheme. A lot of money is going to be spent, wasted on, you know, things that are not necessary. Look, it is necessary. You need to keep the farmers in Thailand happy.
But Tom, are we really keeping, I mean, if you talk to the rice...
Of course you are.
But hang on, if we talk to the Rice Exporters Association, they'll say those that have...
The Rice Exporters Association are losing money on this.
Yes, they are.
Because they are the middleman. Now the government is actually taking that role. So I'm very skeptical on what the Thai Rice Exporters Association is saying, right? Because you're taking the authority away from them, right? And again, I want to be clear here. You're putting $10 to $20 billion US into the economy. That's where it's going. It's not, okay, people are saying it's going to the middleman. It's going to it's not getting down to the farmers. But as I stated last time, right, if I gave you $10, Adrian, you're not going to give out.
We know that. But you know what the government should actually do, in my opinion, is actually be open about the scheme and actually communicate it.
It needs to be point by point by point.
Exactly.
The trouble is there's always people who will actually speculate on this is being said and this is being said. I mean, we had Kun Kittirat come out and say, you know, at least now this is for the betterment of the poor farmers.
Okay, the intention is good. The intention is good.
Look, I think what Tom says is true. The intention is excellent. What we're doing or what they're trying to do, it boosts the economy and all that sort of thing. But my argument still is that the smaller farmer is still not benefiting. So
the smaller farmer is benefiting.
Could benefit more, perhaps.
Could benefit more. Sure. I don't disagree with that.
And that's why they're not the actual smaller farmers are not as happy. So you've got this groundswell coming from beneath as well.
And from the opposition.
Kun Waranai, the esteemed Bangkok Post writer, good friend of ours, actually wrote a very good article on this last week. And it's very clear. Let's be blunt where blunt needs to be said, right? This is a political issue. The Pheu Thai party needs to keep its base happy.
That's right.
Its base is the agro people of Thailand, right? By the way, just to be fair, the Dems did this too. They just called it. We have subsidized our farmers
for
years, right? Okay, I don't disagree. Obviously, there are some issues out there that hasn't been clarified.
Yeah, so clarify it, right?
So let's send the message out, right? Like Kun Bun Song this morning, the Ministry of Commerce came out and said, well, we have sold these rice to China. We have sold these rice to Ivory Coast.
Yeah, but
then it's in secret.
Yeah, we can't review where we sold
it. Guys, politicians.
Yeah.
There is no secret.
Let the people know a bit.
Let the people know.
So that there won't be, put an end to all this speculation.
So a message to all the people at Pheu Thai.
Concerned parties.
We are very supportive.
But talk about it properly.
You should subsidize farmers because I actually want to be able to eat tomorrow.
Yeah.
Without this subsidy, there will be no rice. just explain to us the entire detail, and people will be happy, and we'll move forward. You know, Adrian came up with a great name for this last week, right? Which is the fund to what?
Feed farmers.
To feed our farmers, to save our farmers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm all for it, right? I'm all for it. I'm never going to go out there and farm. I don't know how to farm rice, so somebody do it for me. I'll just eat. Is that okay?
So let's move on. We were all prepared for what was it called? Tropical storm, depression, Gangnam.
Gangnam.
Okay,
I'm
so
still with Gangnam.
Right, it came and it went, and there was
Isn't
no
it
real
still
storm.
here?
There wasn't real storm. No, it's gone.
Storms at my place last night.
There was no real storm, right? So, you know,
I spent the entire month not wearing socks because I was preparing for the flood.
We had warnings. We had warnings from our science minister to stay at home during the weekend.
Look, truly,
right?
Somebody's got to really. There are certain people you have to keep quiet. I'm sorry to say. Look, both Tom and I were badly affected by the flood last year.
Right.
Very badly. We lost a lot of our homes and so on. But reality is, when you come out and you say something that makes sense. Don't tell people to leave their homes. There's going to be fishermen. You know, this is also part of our economy. Fishermen, don't go out and fish because you know what? There's going to be 4 and 5 meter waves. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so you know, he was trying to be helpful, was he? Or
you know what? There's one thing.
What was he trying to do?
Think first.
Okay. You know, may I defend our esteemed Minister of Science Technology, Kun Plop Prasop, okay? The comment was, look, there's this big storm coming. You know, people should take precaution, stay home. You know, if you don't have to go out somewhere. Guys, have you ever said anything to the media and it comes out exactly the way you want it to be said? People take things and blow it up. Imagine if the guy didn't say that and the storm did come and people were stuck out in the traffic and fishermen were to drown. Look, I'm going to go on the side of caution here, right? And
I'm
say,
shocked.
Look,
no, I can't believe.
I'm going to go on the side of caution here.
I can't believe what's coming from your
Look. The only reason, right, that it didn't happen was because Gangmi or Gammy or whatever.
Gammy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep calling it Gangnam style because that's my word now. Okay, my word is Gangnam now. Okay, decided to shift. Shift path.
No, but
right?
but it did have some effect, right? It did have some
Look,
effect that we didn't see.
There's a warning is fine, but I don't think you have to go to the
I don't know if, again, I put this on, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, that what he probably said was, look, there's a storm coming, right? People should stay home, take precaution. I don't know what the Thai newspaper reporter actually heard and wrote.
It reported that we should stay home or consider staying home for 3 or 4 days.
And you know,
what does that do to the economy, for heaven's sake? I mean, this is just nonsense. How many extra holidays did we get last year?
It was a weekend. People are supposed to stay home. Is it better? Is it
go
better?
Shopping, right, in the malls during the weekend.
Damn, I forgot.
Should we not side with caution?
Okay.
Yes, we should
caution.
side with caution. Right. Okay.
Let's move on caution, right? You know what happened? They released a lot of water from the dams. And do you know what happened? They flooded certain areas.
Exactly.
So there were some provinces, Ratburi, I think, Ratburi, they are flooded because too much water was released from the dams in preparation.
But what warning did they give these provinces?
Yeah.
I want to say something about the flood to all people who lives in Thailand, all right? It floods in Thailand.
And has for years.
Okay.
We go, but you know what? Because we don't fix the problem.
No, we need NASA. We need NASA to study weather patterns and give us proper information.
You know what we need to do?
No, NASA.
We need to build more dams. First and foremost, let's finally understand. It floods in Thailand because we're in a low-lying area. There's a thing called the Pacific Ocean.
And the sand belt.
Okay, and the sand belt. Look. Every time any government, whether it's Pheu Thai, Democrat, Chat Thai, Chat Patana, wants to build a dam, you have these NGOs going out there saying, no. Guys, if you don't build dams, you're going to get floods. First thing. 2, look, we got to have a water management policy that's finally put in place. Let's go out and hire the Holland guy. Let's go out and hire a Belgian guy, or let's hire. We got to do this. Well, but what I find most surprising is Thai people go, "Oh my God, there's a flood." People, wake up! It floods in Thailand.
All right. This time, did you observe that the BMA was actually prepared? They had crews waiting. They had pumps on standby. There was this Lat Prao junction. There were a lot of.
You mean there was one place
and that came about because Minister Praprasop says, "Be prepared."
Okay, I don't know about that one.
Just to finish off on that, but just also know that Thailand also has droughts because we don't have enough water in the dams. in this same story about the storm, it says going to have drought.
I'm
We have
not- by
droughts
the way,
on a regular basis.
I'm not running for Bangkok governor. I'm going to tell people now, okay, how do you stop flooding? One, let's make a decision. We got to build dams.
Sure.
We got to do it. I know that dams environmentally has a negative effect, but an overall flooding of this magnitude has a much more damaging effect than building a dam. Two, in Bangkok itself, we got to start building, you know, canal doors, dikes, you know, these minor dams at these canals that we have. We got to do that, right? Three, our pipes are horrible, right? We have either got to expand the pipes, and to be fair, people stop throwing things into the pipes.
And last but not least, bring proper experts if needed.
That's right, and bring proper experts. But you
proper
know,
ones who won't give
I'll
you
tell you
false
how you
warnings.
start saving.
Exactly.
For one plastic bag that you let into a sewer, that darn thing stops the flow of water. So look, it's not hard to stop a flood, but the first thing is you have to decide, we will flood. Stop it. You know, it's not Chicken Little with the sky is falling. Guys, sad to say, the sky has fallen.
Okay.
Fix the problem.
We have to go for a break now, but we'll continue with this flood drains issue after the break.
Okay.
See you later. And we were talking a little bit about the drains just now, so let's continue on that topic, because while the flood didn't come and we didn't drown, we may be drowning in hot air. So, okay, there was a big hoo-ha last week, right, or the week before. Some concrete blocks and sandbags were found in the drain. The Democrats at first said they were placed there by some other people.
Conspiracy.
And then more of these sandbags were found in another location, and then the Democrats or the BMA came up and says, this is part of our flood control measures. Then the minister jumped in. These were actually between our esteemed science minister. He actually jumped in and gave the BMA 15 days to remove these or face action. And the governor is being adamant about how these are part of his measures. So,
and this week they're actually meeting. So.
They're meeting, and we let's hope that some good things come out of this meeting. But share with us some details on this, Valerie.
The big question is, why didn't they talk before?
Yeah, why
This
blow it up in
became
the
such
media?
a ridiculous story in the newspaper, and again, it's people shooting off their mouth for the wrong reason. Look, there are things that are taken out of proportion all the time. We understand that. But you know what? It would have been so much easier to have a conversation and ask what's going on rather than come out and make all the statements, and it becomes front page news. And it's, again, the Pheu Thai versus the Pachati Pat. It just, people are getting fed up with it, quite
The minister
frankly.
was not involved from the beginning. It was
No,
just
he
some
wasn't.
Pheu Thai MPs who were actually...
it was
Let's give our
Democrat MP Tana
let's
first.
give our expat friends and our foreign friends out there a little background on this. The BMA is actually autonomous area.
It's a BMA Act.
Okay, it's actually
Empowers
BMA. It's
them.
autonomous. However, it's still under the Minister of Interior,
Sure.
which is run by a different party. The Democrat governor is again, he's a Democrat. The Pheu Thai government is the Minister of Interior is under Pheu Thai. In reality, Bangkok is a special zone. It can actually do things by itself. The governor has his own budget. He can do a lot of things, right? So what basically the governor is saying, look, I'm responsible for Bangkok. Whether it floods or not, it's my responsibility. So at the beginning, the Ministry of Interior, Kun Plop Prasop, who's the head of this, World Wrestling Flood
WMFC,
Federation.
Water
yes.
Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, something like that, right? Kind of stayed away. Let it happen. What happened was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, the streets of Bangkok started flooding. So we had a downpour. The streets of Bangkok started flooding. People wanted to understand why.
Right.
And it happens every year.
Yeah, but this year they wanted, because again, last year it didn't happen as much, right? This year it happened very quickly. So it became a situation where it probably was that the pipes or these big tunnels that the BMA had built were not letting the water flow through. So originally, some MPs from the Pheu Thai party decided to leave their parliament seat, go down in the drains.
For the first time, probably.
For the first time, was able to dig up sandbags and things like that.
Dig up dirt. They were trying to
Dig
dig up
dirt.
dirt on the
Sure.
BMA.
Well, and then they found some. They found some sandbags. They found rocks and all that. And immediately the Democrat Party says,
knee-jerk reaction was
yeah,
that,
you planted it there. So the Democrats had a knee-jerk reaction.
This is what we talked about last week. There's just so much suspicion between each other.
What the realities, however, was that now the Bangkok governor, Mamrachwong Sukumpan Paripat, says, no, it wasn't planted. We actually went and did it so that we would divert water to not flood in very low-lying areas. So Minister Plopper, so basically, and the argument he's having with the governor is this is the wrong method.
Yeah, you know what he said? He says, why are you blocking water flow? This is wrong. Hello, what did you do last year? Didn't you block water flow?
Well, that's the whole point.
Well, exactly right. They blocked it completely.
And now he's saying blocking water flow is not standard.
So let's go off on that logic. Last year, the Bangkok governor plus the prime minister decided, right, that the way they were going to control the flood was to protect what is called the CBD,
Bangkok,
which is the
CBD.
Central Business District. So they started blocking water flow with this amazing thing called the big sandbag or whatever.
Big bag.
And what ends up happening is Valerie goes underwater for 2 months. I go underwater for 2 months. The decision this year is very clear. Everybody will share in the suffering. That means water will flow freely. Okay, that was actually the policy I think that was agreed upon, was that things would flow freely. Everybody gets a little bit of the flooding, but nobody gets as strong. So the question then becomes is, why is the Bangkok governor then not agreeing to this policy and starts blocking these pipes with these sandbags and diverting again? This is the fundamental question that the minister is asking.
And he should, because the reality is we're all trying to share. Surely that all of these associations, all of these groups need to come together to say, look, we think we should do this because, and we all talk about it. This is the problem. It becomes this party versus this party.
The Bangkok governor and our esteemed Minister of Science is on the same water wrestling committee.
And I agree with Valerie on this, but I don't disagree that it's going too far. I think Thailand has become a better place.
Sure.
Because the media on this one, actually, it gets to report on things like this. The only problem I have with the media is they take very small issues and then they blow it up. Right?
The big issues we never see.
Yeah, the big issues we never see. Look, I don't know. I'm not a flood expert, right? To me, if I just look at it as 1 + 1 = 2, right? I don't think you should block anything, right? To me, if my pipes were clogged, the first thing I want to try to do is unclog it so that the water flows freely. What Mamrachwong Sukumpan is saying is, look, because we don't want certain areas to flood, well, by golly, let's all areas flood. And
share as we should be
So I don't
doing,
have to suffer so much, right?
Okay,
but the problem is the minister and the governor have got to agree. But obviously, we're starting to see now that having a national government of one party and a Bangkok government of another party, it doesn't seem to really work, right? Sure. I'm not advocating that the new governor should be a Pheu Thai person, but regardless, the first question that should be asked of the new Bangkok governor, whether it's a Democrat, an independent, or can you work? Can you work with the national government?
It goes both ways, Tom, because, the budget is another issue. Whenever you've got a party in power and the governor is of the same party, the budgets are greater.
Yep.
They don't have to fight for the budgets. I mean, there's so many different issues.
There are a lot of people who hate me. I'll be the first to admit it, right? I have to work with them. I have no choice.
With both sides, with all sides.
Exactly. But it comes back to what? Checking your ego at the door. You are the governor of Bangkok. You are the Minister of Science and Ministry. The egos of Kun Plopper Sop and the egos of Mamrachwong Sukumpan is causing this problem to happen. Check your ego at the door. Care more about me than you do about yourself, right? And then I'll love you.
Well, let's move on to the next topic now. Regardless of what we see happening in the local politics here, the survey of, 1,000 expats by Hong Kong Bank?
I think it was even more than that,
more
actually.
Than 5,000 expats?
No. Over 100 countries.
Yeah. And Singapore came out tops as the best place for the expats to live, and Bangkok was number 2 in terms of quality of life.
Great.
Terms of quality of life.
Great.
Now, this survey was done by...
And by the way, Bangkok has always been voted the best city in the world, too, by the way. by Condé Nast, 2 years.
By Condé Nast,
yeah. The best city for tourism,
I actually went to New York with the governor of Bangkok to receive that award.
Yes. And actually,
so I'm a fair guy. I go with both sides.
Yeah.
It's called a swinger, I think.
Okay, so this survey was done amongst.
So what the survey says? What we're the second.
We're second.
we're the second most desirable city for expats.
In terms of
For
quality
lifestyle
of life.
and work.
No, that's good.
Quality
Lifestyle
of
and
life.
work.
I agree.
Not for investment, not for business, but in terms of quality of life.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing to me, what it says is that Singapore came up ahead, which is as one would expect, I suppose. Second was Thailand, third was Cayman. So I don't quite know how Cayman came in when in
Cayman
fact...
is where all they fund all their money.
Exactly.
No, but this is where they
But there's not a lot of business.
You know,
the survey was done
if you look at the survey,
wealthier.
yeah, if you look at the
wealthy
survey,
expats.
I'm very clear.
Yeah.
Yes, to do business in Singapore is much more
Easier.
than to do it in Bangkok.
Sure.
Right. The infrastructure is better.
It's in English, for
The
one.
English language is there. They have tremendous amount of tax incentives. A good friend of mine runs Google, right? And about a few years ago, there was a decision whether Google comes here or Google goes to Singapore. It was very clear. Google decided to go to Singapore because of the tremendous amount of tax breaks and incentives they would get. So on a pure business side, I agree. If you look at it, though, so on business side, it's Singapore. I want to be fair to, again, I want to be fair to the Bangkok governor. On this one, I think he's done a very good job because in the last 4 years that he has been in office, or 3 years, Bangkok has always been ranked 1 or 2 in all of the surveys.
And now it's also
yeah.
ranked the city with probably the longest slogan.
Before we go on to the longest slogan, can I just say that this is not about Bangkok.
This is Thailand.
This
as
is
a whole.
Thailand, and I think there's a big issue, Tom, because we're not talking, if we look about the people that are coming here that are wealthy, the people that want the lifestyle here, clearly where the money is in Phuket.
Agree.
Clearly where the money is.
Agree.
The business might be here. So the reality is it's got to be overall Thailand.
Yeah.
Bangkok's got benefits, but Phuket, you're going
And
to
now
keep
we
on
have,
attracting.
and by the way, as of this week, we have a new slogan.
Yeah,
Adrian, you wanna
the
read it?
longest slogan, I've got to read it. Bangkok, glorious as if created by angels. The administration center, beautiful temples, glittering palaces, the capital of Thailand. And there will be 800 signs. There will be 800 new signboards now.
In so many different languages, including Russian.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry, did you
I don't
finish
know.
reading?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You finished reading?
Yeah. It's the longest slogan ever, so we're going to win another award here, for sure.
It won't be a good award, let me tell you. The reality is that you need short, sharp, you know, this is, in my opinion, this is just a waste of time and money.
800
Reality-
signs. It's 800 signs. They've got to be pretty big because the slogan's very long.
The reality is, it's a nonsense.
Yeah.
We don't need all of that.
Or was it Bangkok, a city of what?
Glorious as if created by angels.
But
Already Krung Thep
But,
is
but
related
run
to
by
angels.
devils.
Run by devils.
How about that?
Your friends.
Okay, we go for a break now. See you later. Welcome back. We will start off with the results of a poll conducted in Malaysia and Thailand concurrently. The results, surprisingly, at different ends of the scale. 63.1% of the Malaysian population is against government corruption. But 68.5% of Thais actually condone official dishonesty if they have something to gain from it. This is a very disturbing survey, don't you think so?
I think it is, and I think it's what's even more disturbing when you actually, it was an ABAC poll survey. I think one of the other things that's more disturbing is the fact that you always have hope that the younger generation will go, look, there's enough of this, let's just try to get back to a level playing field. But in actual fact, as I understand it, 79% of Thais under 20 go, you know what, corruption is okay by me. Corruption's here to stay. And the government officials, 60-odd%, say, it's okay, why not? So, look, government officials, we understand where you're going from, where you're at, but reality is that the sad part for me is the fact that the younger generation are saying corruption's okay.
So you thought that the younger generation would actually change their mindset, right?
Look, it's a bit like prostitution, isn't it? You can't change this overnight, you know. The reality is prostitution, corruption, whatever it is. But reality is you always hope that there will become a time when the younger generation will actually go, enough, let's get to a level playing
Perhaps
field.
because they see too many examples from their
Yeah, of course
their
they
leaders.
see examples, but,
Yeah.
but one would hope that with those that are better educated than perhaps those that are already sitting in these positions and are corrupt, that they would say, you know what, we don't need this. The country will be better without it.
Tom, you've been silent on
I'm
this?
silent on this one because
You're
I'm actually
speechless.
speechless. You know,
What can you say?
It's a sad state of affairs. Sad to say, right? And again, I am a businessman in Thailand. In one way, I understand why there needs to be the greasing of the palms, okay? And to be fair, it's not only here in Thailand, you know, whether it's the U.S., Europe, corruption is there in government. The sad part is, on this one, is the wide acceptance of this aspect. And I do agree.
It's become a norm.
Yeah, I do agree with you, right, that it's sad when our younger generation sees this as the way to improve their lives, as the way of making it ahead. Obviously, this has not been something that has been instilled of them today. It has been instilled of them over a very, very long time. You know, there's an old saying in Thailand, right? There's a reason why our expressways all of a sudden seems to end in the middle of nowhere. You know, and then you got to restart again. Corruption hurts. Corruption hurts our country. But again, in all transparency, I am a businessman, so you know, I don't want to come out here looking as Mr. Pious and disagreeing with something. The issue here to me is the simple fact of we're instilling into our young, our next generation of leaders, that it's important to drive a Bentley. It's important to have a Mercedes. It's important to have a Louis Vuitton bag. It's important. You know, I go to these universities, right? And sad to say, and these are major brand name universities in Thailand. And I can't believe that, you know, third, fourth year students are carrying, you know, brand name bags. They have these great watches. And that instills them that if they get this when they're young, they're going to have to find a way to get this when they go out into the working world.
Exactly.
And the way they see it is the best way to get this in the working world is to be corrupted. Again, it's a corruption of morality.
Yeah.
I think that's the fundamental problem in Thailand right now. And again, it's not a corruption of the government officials taking money or the business side taking money or giving money. There is a corruption of morality in Thailand. You know, and I think it starts off with the lack of religious teachings here that we have now. People don't go to temples anymore. We can't fix the morality question of corruption.
I don't know whether you read the report, Tom, but even went beyond that, and also a sad part for me also was, you know, the way, yeah, exactly, Adrian, the way you can fix this. The young people say the way you can fix this, the only way you can fix corruption in this country is if anyone is corrupt, then you give the death penalty. I mean, where are you guys?
But look, guys, they take people in China and take them out to the football stadium and shoot them, right? I mean, this Bo Chi Lai guy is gone, by the way, you know. That doesn't help. I think we look at corruption as a morality issue. If it doesn't start with yourself, understanding that you're not supposed to take the easy way out, right? But again, it's so sad because these kids see it, right? They see their friends with the bags. They see their friends with the watches. They see their friends with the sugar daddies, per se. So it starts off with the personal corruption. I think we've lost that in Thailand completely. Recently, a gentleman who used to be in charge of the bank, you know, the asset committee during the crisis of 1997, he was charged. And as of right now, he's still not going to jail. And his sentence has been suspended because he's never did anything wrong before. Guys,
his first crime.
Yeah.
There's the first time he got caught.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a first crime.
It's a crime. That's it.
There is no such thing as being half pregnant. You're either guilty or you're not guilty.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's start sending a message to our kids, right? That they can't get away with it. That's one. Two, let's start sending a message to our kids in regards to moral corruption.
But I think the family unit in Thailand has gone too far to the Western side in their thinking. They've got to have all these wonderful things. I mean, you go to France and you go into a Louis Vuitton shop and you buy one tie and they buy 20 ties. What Thais have done is taken the worst out of the West, in my opinion, and added that to the corruption issues, that they need more money to pay for these things to be at a particular level. You know, I don't know that we're going to overcome this as quickly as we'd all hope, because I think that it's gone too far. But certainly governments, religion, families need to take notice a lot more too.
Morality
issues. It's a whole combination.
It brings us very well into the next topic.
Oh, I can imagine.
Boobs.
I beg your pardon?
Boobs.
How do we go from corruption to boobs?
Materialistic.
Because people are corrupted so that they can go out and get more boobs.
No. There's an epidemic on Facebook.
What's an epidemic?
Of young women actually uploading pictures of themselves themselves.
Young Thai women?
Young Thai women.
Really?
Actually
Thai women have
uploading-
boobs?
Young Thai women posting photos of their breasts on Facebook pages so that they can get attention and likes.
Why? Are
They only want the likes?
For the likes, for the money.
Teenagers studying in
This
high
can't
school
be
post
that.
not
This
true.
has
This
to
is
be
not
a
true.
side business to this.
I don't know if there's a side business,
What
but
are they
you
trying
know,
to sell? Because, I mean, a like, what does that give the person that's putting their boobs on TV?
popularity.
Popularity against people you don't know? What?
Okay. You're a lady. Tell us, what do you think about putting your boobs?
Thank you
What do
for
you, what do you think about putting boobs on Facebook?
Wow, when was the
Pictures
last
of
time
boobs on
anyone
Facebook.
called you a lady?
She's a lady.
Long time ago. And I'm actually, we have a similar background, so I'm really quite honoured, really. No, I mean, I will be like a politician. I will not answer that question. However, what I will say is that there has to be something more than just putting your boobs on Facebook to get a like. There's got to be something more than that. Again, it comes back to the morality issue. It comes back to people wanting attention for all the wrong reasons. Are they so bored? You go into an office today, 90% of people, when they're supposed to be working, are on Facebook or on their phones, fiddling around and goodness knows what. It's a morality issue. To answer your question, I don't know why in a million years people would want to actually put their boobs on Facebook.
Can I just
it doesn't
warn,
make sense.
Can I warn these ladies something? Yep. Facebook is forever.
Sure it is.
After your boobs have sagged, right? After you've gone through your 5th plastic surgery,
Yes, and?
whatever it is, remember, what goes on Facebook stays on Facebook. So, you know, strutting your private parts for people to press like for any reason at all is wrong, okay? And, you know, guys, mom, dad, before you know, check on your kid's Facebook account once in a while.
Yeah, but these kids, it's not just little kids. I mean, they've got teenagers, 20-year-olds. I mean, they should old enough to know better. Really.
Perhaps there's, as Tom mentioned, there's an underlying
I think
incentive,
there's underlying incentive.
to do
There's
this.
got-
You know,
look, we're in
to build
Thailand. There's got to be something
popularity
behind it.
and perhaps to get some monetary income to
gotta be monetary.
achieve your
Yours-
materialistic targets.
I want to speak into this camera right here. To all the young ladies, young men, all the youngins out there. Your self-worth should mean a lot more to you than a Louis Vuitton bag.
Or
Your-
an iPhone 5.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
self-worth, your morality, your future should mean more than an Apple iPhone 5. The mistakes you make today, unlike when I was young, I can make mistakes. The world did not see it.
Right.
Yeah.
The
that's
mistakes
true.
you make today on Facebook, on Twitter, on MySpace,
Okay.
whatever these things are, right? It stays with you forever. Imagine at your wedding day, okay, 10 years from now, and all of a sudden your picture of your breast shows up.
Yeah, or if
somewhere.
one day you're a politician and
Yeah.
someone digs up pictures from your Facebook account when you were 20 years old.
So stop
So
it.
true.
Okay, it stays with you forever, okay? And if you want a Louis Vuitton bag that badly, just give me a call. I'll buy you one,
Well, we
okay?
have his number.
Jeez!
Yeah.
And what about what are you going to help for the people with the boobs?
We will not publicize his phone number this time round, all right? We've got to go for a break now, so when we come back, we'll address 2 more topics. One about education and the other about 3G. See you later. Welcome back. We talk about the degrading morality amongst the youth and this new survey from the Times Higher Education Rankings of University. 400 universities were ranked. And
Worldwide.
there was only, worldwide. And there was only one university from Thailand. Just one university.
Which one was
from
that?
Thailand. The King Mongkut Thonburi University.
Oh.
Not even Chulalongkorn, not even Thammasat.
But on what basis were they graded?
They were graded on the basis of teaching, research, even income of the universities.
And Chula and Thammasat didn't get a mention?
Didn't get a mention. None. Only one Thai university was
That's
on there.
sad.
Perhaps because everyone's busy doing pictures on Facebook with their boobs or buying Louis Vuitton handbags.
That's really very sad because, you know, at some part of our education system surely works. But this is showing from primary all the way through to university, it doesn't work.
Mahidol University was on the list last year, ranked about 350.
you know,
Yeah,
This
exactly.
year they
A
dropped.
lot
Not
of
at all.
these, to bring everybody on board, right? A lot of these surveys, how you rank a university in the world, really, is based upon the research of the professors. Are the professors going out there and learning new things? Are they doing papers? Are they doing reports? So obviously, professors in Thailand are not going out there and creating new things for their own mind. to be able to teach the youngs again. This survey is an absolutely
You should wake up
call
here.
for
Sure
Thailand,
is.
right? That you have these major universities that we think are really, really good, and we're not even on par with, holy shoot, you know, these universities that are going to be our competitors.
Singapore was
yeah.
on the list.
You know,
China was on
and
the
this all
list.
goes back, you know, it's the complete lack of caring for the well-being of our future generation. And it starts with educating them. When only one university in Thailand makes a list,
We have 500
list of
universities. Here.
400.
We have 500 universities
exactly.
in Thailand, but only one made it to the list.
where is this country going? We are creating a generation of stupids, right? And this is not good.
Well,
We're going into the AEC here in 3 years, right? Thailand should be the center of the universe for the AEC. The only problem is, you know what's going to happen? We can't be because we don't have the HR, the human resource, to be the center of the universe. And it starts off with this university ranking. This is so sad. And this should be a wake-up call.
With the language, with so many issues.
This should be a wake-up call to Chulalongkorn. This should be a wake-up call to Thammasat. This should be a wake-up call to everyone. We have got to increase the quality of the teaching
and
of our
teachers.
universities.
And
you know?
teachers.
And teachers, and teachers, and professors. You know what here you go. Don't throw things at the TV screen when I say things like this, okay? We have way too many PhDs here, right?
And
we have
it
a lot of
means
doctors.
zip.
We have a lot of PhDs. You know something? I don't know what that means. Everybody seems to be a PhD in Thailand. They don't seem to be able to teach anything. What's wrong with our country? Well, we have a lot of PhDs, but our universities are not ranked in the top 400. So obviously, you know,
It's all about getting something behind your name. I mean, when I first came to Thailand, they asked me, oh, do you have a title? It's like, isn't Valerie Mackenzie enough for you? No, you've got to have a title. You know, have you ever done anything? Did you do a doctorate? Yes. Oh, that's good, we can call you doctor. It's irrelevant. It's really, really irrelevant. The reality is that there are too many people going after degrees for the wrong reason, to have the title, but nothing here, because it's all by rote. It's all what they believe they can actually put out, churn out. But there's no in-depth thinking. There's no getting out of the box.
Yeah, and I think that's what the surveys saying
Yeah,
you, because our universities are not teaching people to think. They're not going out there and doing researches. They're not creating anything new, right? And that's the problem. We're just teaching people to read books and become doctors or become PhDs. Guys, you know, Bill Gates never graduated from university, by the way.
Yeah.
No, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't either. But they went to Stanford,
Steve
they went to
Jobs, yeah,
Harvard.
exactly.
They did.
Which
These
are on
guys
the
went
list,
to
by the
university.
way.
Yeah. These guys,
Harvard
but
was
you know
number
what?
4, Stanford was number 2.
Because in their 1 or 2 years at being immersed in the Harvard culture and the Stanford culture, it allowed them to be who they are. They don't teach people that it's necessary to get a degree. They teach people to think. And our universities are not teaching people to think.
The problem, just to add to that more, Tom, is when actually many of the students who have the money go overseas to these universities, they get outside of the box. They actually start to think, they start to do things. But then they come back here.
And they're put inside the box
And
again.
they're put inside the box again. So it's like the rest of Thailand doesn't accept the depth of knowledge and the reality of what's going on. You can't generalize, of course, but again, there are so many restrictions here.
You know, if you went out and asked, I'm sure, a Thai university student today, what's happening in the world, you know? What's happening in Syria? What's happening in Turkey? What's happening in Libya? What's happening in Iraq? You know?
Zero.
They probably couldn't tell me. If I asked them what's the newest line of bags of Louis Vuitton, boom!
Sure.
They're
what's the
going
best
to
watch
get
to
it
have?
immediately,
That's
you know?
true.
And that's sad, you know? By the way, Louis Vuitton is not our new sponsor. We're not plugging them, okay?
But you're working on it.
Okay, let's move on to our last
but
topic.
Okay.
let me just find this. The universities, this has got to be a wake-up call for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
We cannot lead if our students cannot think. We cannot continue to create a generation of stupids. Okay, let's smarten up.
Especially AEC,
Yeah.
we've got to be there.
And by the way, a friend of mine just told me that, I'm going to go back on a little topic here, the Facebook breast thingy, right? A friend of mine just mentioned to me that Facebook now is a public company, so every picture you post can now be used without your consent. So be very careful.
Read the fine privacy
Yeah,
policy.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the
Our last topic.
Yeah, 3G.
What's that?
3G.
What's that?
3G?
3G.
Three guys?
Third
Is that-
generation. Third generation mobile
Yes,
networks.
yes,
Third
yes.
generation mobile networks.
Can the camera catch my face again?
2 years ago. Wake up, Tom. 2 years ago, there was an auction that was aborted.
Yeah.
The auction was planned in some fancy Hua Hin hotel, and it was aborted. And on October 16, it's supposed to happen again in a much smaller scale with 3 bidders. But there is some case before the courts today to try to stop this auction.
Okay, let me quickly update everybody on this. So, right now you have 3 major telecom players in Thailand. You have
Right.
AIS, True, and DTAC. Okay?
None of them actually licensed.
Yeah,
They're
all of them
concessionaires.
all of them are concession under the TOT or the CAT.
TOT.
Right. With the new National Organization for Telecommunications coming out, they're saying the concessions are all gone. So now these companies have to actually bid for a licensed spectrum.
Which makes
a
sense
lot
for
of
them.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them. Yeah.
But it's not an equal playing field, is it?
Well, it's good. It's good. It's good in the fact that we have these spectrums. These people now are able to supposedly now have these things forever, so they can make investments based upon the future. Obviously, people are thinking that the tariffs will be lower because now they don't have to pay a revenue share to TOT or CAT. The fundamental question on this is we're still talking about 3G. Why, as you said, right, Valerie?
Laos, yeah.
Laos has got 4G. I mean, what's wrong with us?
Yeah, Laos has got 4G. Vietnam has got 4G.
We're probably the last country. Even Myanmar has 3G.
Yeah.
Myanmar has?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
And so the question is, on October 16th, will this be stopped again? What amazes me is we're still talking about this.
For so long.
This is
You'll be the laughing
unbelievable.
stock of the world.
This
man.
is unbelievable.
Laughing stock of the
3G helps. Every day we don't have 3G is something like 280 million baht in businesses that goes down the drain.
Sure.
Because of the lack of ability to use data.
It costs our economy greatly.
You know why? I'll go back to this. This is, again, a situation where it should not have been an issue. We should have had this auction a long, long time ago. The auction's going to happen now. Now you have one guy who is going out there trying to put a lawsuit in
Who is
saying...
he acting for, actually? One guy. Who is he acting for? He's
You know,
not
he's
acting
acting
for the
for.
rest of the people.
Look, I'm not going to mention his name. I know the guy. He's acting on behalf of his own ego again. I think the problem is nobody gave him a call and says, we're doing this, and he's probably saying, I want my name in the news. Look, if you want your name in the news, call me. I'll put your name in print.
But not for that reason.
Yeah, don't do it for that reason. Look, it may not be the perfect bidding situation, and that's what he's saying, right? The whole point is to not do this now would be a disaster for our country.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There are going only to be 3 major operators here. Duh. They're supposed to get the frequency, right?
Exactly.
Let them have it. By the way, for those who don't know, because I have been in the telecom field for a very long time, do you know that the tariff for using phones and data in Thailand is one of the cheapest in the world?
It is.
We're
It
actually very, very cheap. I mean, 650 baht for unlimited data
Yeah, it's
on your
incredible.
mobile. It's incredibly cheap.
It's cheap because you don't get the quality of service. You're not on a full 3G
That's
network.
right, you're only on
right?
power.
You're on a part
So
3G network.
by the time this thing airs next week, we're going to find out whether this goes on or not go on. To all of our expats friends out there, look, I truly believe the courts will wake up this time
Let's
and
hope
say
so.
enough is enough.
Yeah. The
And
networks are congested now. We need new networks. We need operators who have a long-term.
But this is a political
right
issue, so,
to
whether
operate
we
and
like it or
invest
not.
in new networks. It's
Yeah.
like we have a lot of roads. We have a lot of cars now. We have a lot of people.
So
with
as
phones on
the
roads.
courts did not take the right scheme situation to consider, I think this is another one where they should actually just
Sure.
say, let it go. Let's go have a bid, and maybe one day, your child can enjoy.
Or grandchild.
3G.
3G.
Okay.
You need to do something, I can assure you.
Yeah. Well, better do it before it's too late.
For sure.
Right. Okay. With that, we will end today's show. Thank you for watching, and you can get in touch with us on Facebook, facebook.com/thetopic. So, thank you, Valerie, for joining us,
welcome.
and Tom for
But
sharing.
when you do get in
your
touch with us,
insights.
Facebook, do not send your breast pictures, okay?
Yeah, no, we will delete them. And Tom's phone number
You
is
will
not
delete
on
them.
our Facebook page.
You will delete them. Maybe not, Tom.
Nobody calls me. Nobody calls me. I'm lonely.
See you next time. Thank you.